Remember, folks, I'm just a Muppet in a chair. Don't take me seriously. Hello, my lovely Muppeteers. Hope you're doing well. As I'm recording this, a hurricane's about to hit. I've had a lot of people wish me well during the hurricane and wishing our family to be safe and hope nothing bad happens, which I appreciate. But by the time this comes out on YouTube, it's probably going to be November at some point. Because I usually schedule the videos like a month in advance on this channel. But I want you to know I really appreciate it. And it makes us feel really loved over here across the Atlantic. So thank you so much for the well wishes. It looks like a bad one. I don't think it's going to hit us directly, but we are going to get some of it. I've already made preparations in case things go pretty bad. So thank you so much for thinking of us. Anyway, back to this reaction video. Today we are going to be checking this out. It's called 10 Brits Who Tricked America with Their Fake Accents. I've actually touched on this a couple times on the channel before, and one of the things I usually say is how impressed I am with British actors when they do American accents, because they usually, almost every time they do either a pretty good job or a fantastic job. I've also talked about how if it's the other way around, and it's American doing an accent from the UK, it usually doesn't work out too well, or if it does, it's very rare. But I don't think anybody's getting faked out in the UK by an American doing a accent from the UK. I could be wrong though, or an accent from Ireland. I could be wrong. There's the one example that I've been told where an American actor does a really good job with an accent is Brad Pitt in Snatch, when he does the gypsy accent, or whatever it's called. I think it's called pikey, but I don't want to say pikey because I don't know if it's a some people have told me it's a derogatory term, but I've already said it. But there it is, that accent. But I've been told that he did a really, really good job with that. So that's one example. Other than that, some people have said, what's his name? The guy from Game of Thrones. Peter Dinklage did a good job. I found Peter Dinklage's accent to be a little, even as an American, I was like, I feel like he's an American trying to do an English accent, but it's hitting and missing at certain times. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I want to do this reaction video because it's interesting, and maybe there's some examples in here I haven't heard of. I will say this, though, before we get into it, and then I'll shut up and play it. But if they do not have Idris Elba in here playing Stringer Bell from The Wire, which is one of my all-time favorite shows, and for people who like dramatic shows, I highly recommend The Wire. It's one of the greatest television shows ever made, in my opinion, and actually I think in a lot of people's opinion really, especially among filmmakers. Please check it out. Idris Elba was the one who got me when I thought he was like straight out of Baltimore when I saw him in that show, and he tricked. And then I saw an interview of him like a couple years later where he's talking in his real accent, and I was like, oh my God, he totally fooled me. I thought he was just a brother from Baltimore, man. So if he's not in there, I may never watch a Mojo video ever again, but we'll see. Anyway, like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want. And let's check this out. Here we go. 10 times Brits faked Americans with their accents. Here we go.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're examining our picks for the most famous times British actors left Americans confused about their nationality after imitating their accents on screen. We'll see which projects the actors bamboozled the States with, and the reaction from the audience.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Henry Cavill.
Within the confines of the hobby, we call it our grey pile of shame.
After popping up in The Tudors, Cavill became a national treasure in the UK. He quickly climbed the Hollywood ranks, finding himself cast as the all-American superhero Superman in 2013's Man of Steel.
Look, I'm here to help.
But it has to be on my own terms.
The accent Cavill developed for Clark Kent was included in a study by the language app Babbel, which ranked it highly. His work also caused some to believe he was a US national. The Jersey-born actor then met with Guy Ritchie to star in 2015's The Man from U.N.C.L.E. The director praised Cavill's
That
Man
was
of
pretty
Steel
good.
voice, but initiated strict training to nail a new American accent for the film. And it paid off.
I'm okay, I think.
However, Cavill has spoken about struggling to switch back to his original accent. Andrew Lincoln.
Oh, that's actually interesting, trying to switch back after you've played so many American characters. I bet that makes sense. Henry Cavill, I originally know him. I knew he was British beforehand. I feel like the Americans that are tricked when a Brit plays an American, and then they find out that he's actually British, and they're like, oh my god. I feel like a lot of that is due to the big productions. Like, unless they see, like, some Americans only watch like the big production movies, and I'm thinking of a lot of the superhero movies too. But first time I saw Henry Cavill was in The Count of Monte Cristo, which is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. And he was like, I think he was only like 16 years old or so. I think he was a teenager, because that came out in 2002. But yeah, and I had seen The Tudors as well. The Tudors was okay. I mean, Tudors had some really entertaining stuff in it, but I don't know. There's something about it where I was like, eh. But I watched the whole thing. It was definitely entertaining, definitely worth a watch. But yeah, some of these examples that they're going to show here, I feel like a lot of Americans only saw them in one thing, where they were doing an American accent and nothing else. But I feel like I've seen a lot more movies than the average American. I could be wrong. But I did know Henry Cavill was British beforehand. Man from U.N.C.L.E. was pretty good. I watched that recently on Patreon. It's pretty good.
Truth is that when I read the script, I just went, oh, I didn't know that it was based on the comic book, you know.
The Southern American accent is notoriously tricky for a Brit performer to pull off. Often, they can come across as sounding like Cletus from The Simpsons, but beyond a couple of shaky moments, on the whole, Lincoln pulled it out of the bag as Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead. Best known in the UK for Love Actually and Teachers, he worked his socks off to portray the Georgia accent on The Zombie Show.
Last thing she said this morning. Sometimes I wonder if you even care about us at all. She said that in front of our kid.
With the help of dialect coach Jessica Drake, Lincoln first read the lines phonetically, but after a while, he seemingly settled into the role. Even castmates were surprised by the London-born actor speaking in his English accent off-camera, believing him to be American the whole time.
These are serious rounds. Might be serious guns here, too.
I never went through the Walking Dead hype. I've mentioned, because I've reacted to a couple of horror films on Patreon now, and I mentioned before I do them that I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, because I'm not really into the horror stuff. Zombies, vampires, werewolves, whatever, ghosts, ghoulish Muppets, whatever you want to throw in there. It's not really my thing. But I've actually been surprised, because like 28 Days Later was really good. But yeah, never got into The Walking Dead. But I've heard that Mr. Lincoln here is very good at his American accents, and I believe it, because you guys usually are.
Andrew Garfield.
Make your point quickly.
I find that
he's really good at
it. Around Manhattan, but there is something more dangerous, and I know who it is.
Many of Garfield's most famous roles have the actor portraying an American accent. Whether it's The Amazing Spider-Man, The Social Network, or Hacksaw Ridge, the actor can fool us all by thinking he's from the States. But he's not, at least not completely. Born in Los Angeles, California, to American and English parents, Garfield was raised in Surrey. When he communicates in his English voice, not only are fans surprised, but colleagues Emma Stone and Zendaya have also spoken about their shock in realizing he's English.
no one come in because this is me naked in here, vocally. Not literally, I wasn't singing naked, but this could have been.
Another actor who wore the mantle of the web slinger and bamboozled
Tom
the
Holland,
US
too.
is Tom Holland. The Surrey-born actor has spoken about his struggles with acting in an English accent after years of imitating a US one.
I can't act in an English accent anymore.
Yeah.
I did a commercial the other day as Tom Holland, and I was like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And they're like, "You're from Kingston."
Yeah, that's kind of, if you're a British actor and trying to switch back from an American accent, that's got to be maddening. Because you go home and all your mates are like, "Dude, what's going on with your voice, man? What happened to you? You've been talking to too many Yankees lately, aren't you?" It's Idris Elba's up next. Thank you. Okay, so Mojo, I won't shy away from reacting to your videos anymore. This one is amazing right here.
Idris Elba.
You going out on point, picking up business in the pit.
What?
You the man in the lowriders.
After he appeared in the critically acclaimed US show The Wire, many people, including Brits, believed Elba to be American. The accent, which he spent 3 years working on in New York, was impressive and seemed natural. Following that with another American dialect in The Office, this seemingly sealed him as a US national in people's heads. As demonstrated in Luther and as Heimdall in the MCU, Elba is very much English.
I auditioned for this for so long and they told me, don't come in with your English accent. It doesn't sound very gangster.
You auditioned?
Yeah, 4 times.
Get out of here!
Come on, Chris.
Born and raised in London, Elba had to hide his English accent from The Wire producers when he auditioned for the role. But before The Wire, his US voice wasn't good. In fact, it had to be dubbed by someone else, and he tried it in 1994's Space Precinct.
Someone took out him and his whole gang. Who do you figure it was?
I know nothing of...
Wow! Oh my god! That's oh my god! First of all, what in the fucking Muppetdom is going on here? What is this show? And thank God Idris Elba became a star, because what is that voice they're dubbing? It doesn't even match his lips. It doesn't even match what he's doing. Whew! This is pure Muppetry right here. Oh, play that again.
Born and raised in London,
what is this show?
Elba had to hide his English accent from The Wire producers when he auditioned for the role. But before The Wire, his US voice wasn't good. In fact, it had to be dubbed by someone else, and he tried it in 1994's Space Precinct.
Someone
Space Precinct
took out him and his whole gang. Who do you figure it was?
I know nothing about nothing.
Millie Bobby Brown. If you watched Stranger Things without any context of the actors,
I think I'm one of the only ones I know, especially where I live, that has not seen Stranger Things. I've never watched an episode of it. I never had any desire to watch any of it. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I'll leave it at that. But anyway.
You'd likely have believed Brown was a US national.
If this all happened, why don't I remember?
Many folks did, both in Blighty and across the pond. Born in Marbella, Spain, to British parents, Brown's family moved to Bournemouth when she was a child. Later, they relocated to Florida. Growing up, Brown watched a lot of Hannah Montana to practice an American dialect, and all that hard work seemingly paid off. However, her natural speaking accent now switches between American and English.
She somehow makes everything about her.
Well, she's just very
so
cute.
Selfish.
Brown isn't alone in the Stranger Things cast. Charlie Heaton has startled
I could actually hear it. It was like half British, half American. That's interesting.
Viewers with his natural Yorkshire accent. London-born Joseph Quinn, another Stranger Things alumnus, has also snuck his real voice past the audience.
And I was asked to wait there for about 20 minutes, and then I was summoned to this desk.
Cary Grant. It's not just modern British actors who've duped the audience into thinking they say soccer instead of football. Grant was born and raised in Bristol as Archibald Leach.
Really? Interesting.
He moved to the US after performing with the Pender troupe over there. Reinventing himself as Grant, he went on to develop a mid-Atlantic accent and starred in acclaimed films North by Northwest and None But the Lonely Heart. Due to being private and rarely doing interviews, the actor hid his Bristolian heritage for years.
He hit it for years. Wow. Any of those two films that they just mentioned any good? Any of those worth watching? Please let me know.
Just why did you come to the Riviera anyway?
To meet someone as charming as you.
1955. Wow, that's real
Kate
old school.
Winslet.
Don't presume to tell me what I will and will not do. You don't know me.
Well, you would have done it already.
For younger viewers who hadn't seen her not well-received US accent in Titanic, but watched her in 2021's Mayor of Easttown with a
Was it not well received? I mean, maybe I was too young at the time, but I don't know, man. I mean, she is playing... In that movie, she's playing someone from the upper class. So, I don't know, man.
Delco voice, they may think the Berkshire-born Winslet is from the States. Even critics in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania have praised her voice work on the limited series.
Yeah, I just need something simple, really. It's a baby turtle.
As Winslet's
Yeah, that's
career
good.
progressed, the Oscar-winning actor has only gotten better with her American voice. Her remarkable work in 2004's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a testament to this. Further American characters in Steve Jobs and Revolutionary Road have solidified the misconception she's from across the pond.
People come up to me in the street more about The Holiday and the episode of Extras that I did.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Let's give it a try.
Of course. He's the best. He's the best. He is the best. Oh, I bow to you, sir. The best actor who ever fucking lived, in my opinion. I couldn't praise this man more. He's incredible.
Appreciate your help with this, Eli.
The legendary method actor has made a name for himself in the States. Most of his top credited work involved their various accents, from Gangs of New York as Bill the Butcher to There Will Be Blood as Daniel Plainview. Each time, he's knocked it out of the park with his vast dedication. So much so that Day-Lewis was even cast as the iconic US president in 2012's Lincoln, earning him his third
Incredible
Oscar.
that too.
It'll point you true north from where you're standing. But it's got no advice about the swamps, deserts, and chasms that you'll encounter along the way.
Born in London to English and Irish parents, the now retired actor would stay in character off-camera during production, including doing the American accent, which helped him nail the performances.
I tend really to only work on things that I have a kind of compulsion to do.
Christian Bale.
Let's see Paul Allen's card.
If you were reading an
Dude, every time I see him as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, I just start dying laughing. That movie is so wrong in so many ways, and yet every time I watch it, I start dying laughing. Oh my god. Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it. Oh. God. That's probably my favorite Christian Bale performance. And of course he played Batman, and he's done a bunch of American roles. But Christian Bale's amazing. He really is.
Actors' credits and saw they played Batman and Dick Cheney and starred in a film called American Psycho, you'd expect the performer to be a full-blooded American. But nope, Bale is British through and through. Born in Pembrokeshire, Wales, to English parents, the family later settled in
he's
England,
Welsh.
where
I didn't know
Bale
that.
began
I didn't know
turning
that.
himself into a constant in the American film industry. Whenever he's interviewed, even in the UK, the audience is startled to hear the Cockney twang in his voice.
You know, the characters were fascinating, the life, the lifestyle, the towns. The town is such an important part.
This even happened after he won a Golden Globe in 2019.
He even, I've heard that he, there's probably evidence of this somewhere, but I heard that he did a lot of, when he was cast as Batman leading up to Batman Begins coming out, he did a lot of his interviews with an American accent because he was so worried that Americans would freak out and not be too happy when they found out that the actor who was playing Batman was not American. I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody could probably find that out. I'd be interesting to read stuff about that in the comments below. But no, we don't care if I mean, I feel like I'm speaking for my entire nation right now, but I don't know any Americans who like get mad when somebody who's not American plays Batman or Spider-Man or whatever, or even a U.S. president like Daniel Day-Lewis played Lincoln. Gary Oldman played, even though it was just a one scene, he played Harry Truman in Oppenheimer recently. No, I don't think we care, man. As long as it's a good performance, like, and we believe it, we're all for it. It might be surprising for some of us to find out that the actor's not American once we find it out, but no, as long as you do a good job, well done, man. I feel like it's not as true with, let's say, I've talked about this before too, if an American actor played like James Bond, you know? I feel like if the actor who plays James Bond is American, it wouldn't go over too well. Or if they're from somewhere else, I don't know. You guys can speak to this more than me, obviously. But I don't know. For us, it's like, you know, because Batman's a fictional character, but even if they played like, I don't know, what's a truly, like Paul Bunyan or something. Well, that's a fictional character. That's a mythical character too. Who's the guy who died at the Alamo? Davy Crockett. If a Brit played Davy Crockett and did a damn good job, we wouldn't care. I don't think anybody would care. Not in the slightest. Or if a Brit, you know, if you're playing a Southern character or a Southern historical figure from the Civil War, like if the British person played Robert E. Lee or Stonewall Jackson, but they did a really good job, I think they would be like, yeah, well done, goddammit. Or, you know, whatever. As long as the you know, it's convincing and it's done well, we're like, yeah, that's awesome. But I do feel like if an American played James Bond, it would stir up some shit. It really would. But anyway.
His acceptance speech baffled viewers with his
the life, the lifestyle, the towns. The town is such an important part.
This even happened after he won a Golden Globe in 2019. His acceptance speech baffled viewers with his standard accent, and Bale loves it. He worked hard on his US accent for roles, showing him that the work paid off.
I didn't come here to thank you. I came here to show you that not everyone at Gotham's afraid of you.
Hugh Laurie.
I know. Court records are sealed. You were 16. It was a stupid mistake.
The Hugh Laurie, I loved him as the Prince Regent in Blackadder. I just finished season 3 on Patreon. He was awesome. Hugh Laurie. This is another show I never watched an episode, but even though I never watched an episode, I was hearing so much how shocked people were here in the States to find out that Hugh Laurie was not American. This one really faked Americans out. And I know because it would like make the news whenever he would do an interview. They're like, he's not American? It like blew their minds. So this is probably like the number one time, and it's at the end here, so it might be the last one, but this is definitely the number one time that Americans were tricked and they didn't know that the actor that was playing one of their favorite characters was British.
But your old gym teacher has a big mouth.
When Bryan Singer was casting the title role for House, he adamantly wanted an American actor for the American character. So you can imagine how happy he was to see a grizzled Laurie auditioning with a US accent, securing him the iconic role that bagged him so many awards. However, as we know from his years of working in the UK, the actor is very much English.
It's also a bit of an escape route, because if you mess something up and it doesn't sound right, you've always got the excuse of saying, well, I'm not really, that's the whole point, I'm not really an American, that was a deliberate mistake.
Born in Oxfordshire and educated in England's illustrious private schools and universities, he became a comedic actor, famously with Blackadder. Even appearing with a British accent in American productions like Friends and Flight of the Phoenix still didn't clue the States in that Laurie wasn't a Yank before House. Laurie's work was that good.
Fine.
Consult the specialist.
Which British actor who nailed US accents did we miss? Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benedict Cumberbatch, Will Poulter, Rosamund Pike, or someone else? Let us know below.
Actually,
US accents did we miss? Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Chiwetel Ejiofor. I've always wondered how to say his name. He's good. I really like him. Yeah, he could fool people too, because I think at one point I didn't realize he was British as well. So that's a very good honorable mention. Well done, Mojo. That was a good video, Mojo. But yeah, I'm so happy Idris Elba made it on there. That's the one that got me. I was stunned to find out that he was a Brit, man. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was just a brother from down the street, because Maryland's where I'm from, and even though I didn't grow up in Baltimore, I consider Baltimore to be like my home city in a way, because I didn't grow up too far from it. But man, that one was amazing. There was some in there that where I didn't really, like what's the girl from Stranger Things? What's her name? Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah, I keep hearing her name come up and think she must be really popular from Stranger Things, but I never watched that. I never watched House, but I knew who Hugh Laurie was. And he tricks so many people. Christian Bale is amazing. Daniel Day-Lewis is the GOAT. I bow down to him. But on this list, the only one that really tricked me was Idris Elba. Which, if you have not watched The Wire, I couldn't recommend it enough. It is a hard watch at times, though, because it is very dramatic and there's some very disturbing stuff in there. But it couldn't capture the urban lifestyle of American cities any better than it did in The Wire. That show did it brilliantly and better than anybody has ever done it before. And nobody's done it as good since. So please check that out if you're interested. Anyway, but yeah, Idris Elba was the one that shocked me, man. Most of the people on this list I already knew they were British, or I just don't know of their work very much. Like the Andrew Lincoln guy, because Walking Dead was such a good big show here. It might still be. I don't know if it's even still going on, but I never got into that because I'm not into zombie stuff. But people were obsessed with that show for years, and I heard he tricked a lot of people too. So I'd say him and Hugh Laurie were the ones that tricked people the most over here. Could be wrong, though. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. It'll be interesting to read about some of this stuff. And if there's any American who put on a accent from the UK and tricked you guys, that'll be very interesting to find out. But you guys are pretty sharp on that. So, anyway, I'd be interested in reading the comments after this one, because this was quite interesting. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the reaction. Like, subscribe, do whatever you guys want. And I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, Boom. Stay safe.